The room burst into laughter as the champagne popped, sparkling drops hitting the marble floor like confetti. I stood near the counter, clutching a small, neatly wrapped box, the only thing I had bought for myself this year. "Smile, Clara," my mom called from across the room, waving her phone. "Don't look so gloomy on your sister's big day." I blinked. Her big day? It's my 30th birthday. Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from which city you're watching our videos? And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us what would you do in this situation? Be honest, tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin. The room went quiet for half a second before my father chuckled, pouring himself another drink. "Come on, Clara. Don't make everything about you. Your sister just got promoted. She deserves a celebration." And just like that, the laughter returned, louder, brighter, crueler. Mia, my younger sister, stood in the center of the living room wearing a sequined silver dress that caught every glint of the chandelier. "Oh, Clara," she said sweetly, "don't be upset. You're just not the party type, you know?" I forced a smile, even though my throat ached.
Right.
"I'm not." Mom clapped her hands. "Okay, everyone. Gifts for Mia." I froze. Gifts for Mia. On my birthday. Even the cake, pink frosting and gold lettering, read, "Congrats, MIA." My small box suddenly felt heavy. Inside was a watch, simple, elegant, one I'd saved for months to buy. I'd imagined opening it quietly after everyone left, maybe with Aaron by my side. But now it looked ridiculous. Mia caught me holding it. "Oh, what's that?" she asked, snatching it before I could answer.
For me?
Before I could speak, Mom said cheerfully, "Oh, how sweet, Clara. You got her something too." Everyone clapped. Even Dad smiled. Now that's the spirit. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Actually, that was perfect timing, Mom interrupted. "Mia, it looks beautiful on you." And just like that, my gift was gone. No one noticed my trembling hands. No one cared that my name wasn't on the cake. Then, the sound of a car engine rolled up the driveway. A sleek black Mercedes pulled in, headlights sweeping across the front windows. The laughter faded as the door opened. Aaron stepped out. My husband, calm, tall, sharply dressed in a navy suit. The room instantly straightened up. He walked in carrying a small velvet box. His eyes met mine, steady, unreadable, and then shifted to the others. "What's going on?" he asked quietly. Mom smiled nervously. "Oh, we were just having a little celebration for the girls." Aaron's voice was soft, but each word carried weight. "The girls?" He glanced at me, then at Mia, who was twirling the watch around her wrist like a trophy. "Yes," Dad said firmly. "Mia just got promoted. We're proud of her." Aaron's jaw tightened. He set the velvet box on the table. "Interesting. Because I thought today was my wife's 30th birthday." The silence was instant, sharp, suffocating. Aaron turned to me, then slowly opened the box. Inside was a single gold key, glinting under the lights. "Happy birthday, Clara," he said. "It's the key to your new studio downtown. The one you've been dreaming of." Mom blinked. "Studio? For what?" Aaron met her gaze. "For her business. The design firm she built from scratch while you all said she was wasting her life." Dad's expression shifted. "You're exaggerating." "No," Aaron interrupted. "I'm not. She did everything on her own. And tonight, while you celebrated the wrong daughter, you proved exactly why she stopped sharing her wins with you." Mia's smile faded. "You didn't tell me you were opening a firm." I looked at her. No anger, just calm. "I didn't think you'd care." Aaron took my hand gently. "Let's go, Clara." As we turned to leave, Mom called after me, voice trembling. "Wait, what do you mean, her firm?" I looked back once, my voice quiet but clear. "I mean she's worth celebrating too." And as the door closed behind us, the room stayed frozen, silent, stunned, and for the first time in years, powerless. The morning light spilled through the tall windows of our apartment, soft and golden, but my chest still felt heavy from last night's storm. Aaron was at the kitchen counter, stirring coffee, his shirt sleeves rolled up, every movement steady, deliberate, like he'd already made peace with the chaos we'd left behind. I hadn't. My phone buzzed for the 10th time.
Mom, again.
I flipped it face down. Aaron didn't look up. They won't stop calling until you answer. I know. I stared at the untouched toast on my plate. They're not calling to apologize. They're calling to control the story. He smirked faintly. Then let them choke on it. There was a knock on the door before I could reply.
Sharp.
Repeated. Familiar. Aaron set his mug down. You don't have to, but I was already walking toward the door. My pulse thudded in my ears. When I opened it, my parents were standing there, both perfectly dressed, as if this was a formal visit and not the aftermath of a humiliation they caused. Mom's lips stretched into a tight smile. Clara, honey, can we come in? Aaron appeared beside me, silent but solid. Of course, I said softly, stepping aside. The moment they entered, the tension followed. Dad glanced around the apartment, his gaze sharp, scanning the art, the neat workspace in the corner, the sketches pinned to the board. So this is where all the design magic happens, he said, his tone dripping with mock admiration. Mom crossed her arms. We didn't mean for last night to get out of hand. You know how family jokes are. I met her eyes. Family jokes usually involve laughter from both sides. Her smile faltered. Aaron moved to stand beside me. You made her birthday about someone else. You took her gift. And you laughed. Dad's voice hardened. We were proud of your sister. She's successful. There's nothing wrong with celebrating success. Aaron's tone was calm but firm. Then you should have celebrated this success too. He nodded toward the framed business license on the wall. Whitmore Design Company. Dad blinked. What's that supposed to be? I took a deep breath. It's my company. I registered it last month. We signed 3 clients in the first week. I've been freelancing for 2 years, building a brand quietly because every time I mentioned it, you told me I was chasing a hobby. Mom laughed nervously. Clara, please. You're not. Aaron cut in.
She is.
And it's real. She earned her first $50,000 contract last month. The downtown studio I gave her? It's to expand her business, not to prove anything to you. The room went still. Dad's expression shifted from disbelief to something darker, shame wrapped in denial. 50,000? You expect me to believe that? I met his stare. I don't expect you to believe anything. I expect you to see what you've ignored. Mom sighed, clutching her purse like a shield. You could have told us. We're your parents. I smiled faintly. You're right. But you never listened when I did. Aaron stepped closer, his voice low. You both wanted to see her small so Mia could shine brighter. That's not parenting. That's competition. Mom's tone turned defensive. Mia is your sister. She deserves support too. Support, I said quietly. You paid for her college, her car, her first apartment. When I asked for a small loan to buy design software, you said, you should learn to live within your limits. Dad snapped. You were always too sensitive. We were trying to teach you responsibility. By mocking me? I whispered. The silence after that was louder than any shouting could have been. Aaron broke it gently. Clara doesn't need validation from anyone here. She's already built what she dreamed of. But it's sad it took this long for you to notice. Mom's eyes watered slightly. We didn't mean to hurt you, sweetheart. You know how proud we are of both our daughters. Aaron's gaze sharpened. Then maybe say it to her. Not just when people are watching. Mom's voice cracked. Clara, honey, you know I love you. I nodded slowly. I know you do. But love without respect, it feels empty. For once, Dad didn't interrupt. He just stared at the floor. The man who always had the last word had none. Aaron reached for my hand, his thumb brushing mine. Come on, he said softly. We have a meeting in an hour. Mom frowned.
Meeting.
Aaron smiled faintly.
Yes.
With a potential investor. Someone who believes in her work more than her own family did. Their faces froze. I walked them to the door, my tone calm but steady. Mom, Dad, thank you for coming. I hope one day you'll celebrate all of your children equally. Mom opened her mouth to speak, but didn't. They left quietly, the air heavy with everything unsaid. When the door closed, I leaned back against it, my hands shaking slightly, not from fear, but from release. Aaron brushed a strand of hair from my face. You okay? I nodded, exhaling slowly. For the first time, yeah. He smiled. Then let's make sure they never forget who you are. I laughed softly, the sound strange and new in my own throat. Clara Whitmore, the forgotten daughter? No, he said, cupping my face gently. Clara Whitmore, the woman they'll never underestimate again. Outside, sunlight flooded the window, catching the edge of the golden key on the counter. My new beginning gleamed under it, quiet, strong, unstoppable. The next few weeks flew by like a dream wrapped in long hours and coffee cups. My new studio, bright and modern with glass walls and plants in every corner, finally felt like mine. The logo, Whitmore Design Company, gleamed on the frosted door. Every time I walked through it, I felt that rare, quiet kind of pride that doesn't need to be spoken. Aaron would stop by in the evenings, dropping off takeout and teasing, "You're starting to sleep less than CEOs." "I'm building something," I'd reply, smiling softly. But not everyone was happy about it. Mia hadn't called once since that birthday night. I didn't expect her to, but part of me hoped she would. A truce, maybe. A small olive branch between sisters. Instead, one afternoon, I received a call from a major client, a hotel chain that had just signed a deal with me. The tone of the voice on the other end was strange, hesitant. "Clara," the manager said slowly, "we've received some concerning emails about your company. Claims about your qualifications and financial background. Is everything all right?" My stomach dropped. "What kind of claims?" "They're saying your company isn't legitimate, that you faked your portfolio, that you used your husband's name to land contracts." My hand froze on the desk. "Who sent it?" There was a pause. "Someone named Mia Whitmore." The air left my lungs. After the call ended, I just sat there, staring at the sunlight spilling across my desk, the sketches of hotel lobbies pinned neatly to the wall. Anger wasn't even the first thing that hit me. It was disappointment. Deep, quiet, familiar disappointment. Aaron found me later, still at the desk, papers untouched. "What happened?" I told him everything. He didn't say a word for a long time. Then finally his jaw clenched. "So that's how far she'll go." "I can handle it," I said, though my voice trembled. He nodded. "I know you can, but you shouldn't have to." He made a call right then, calm, professional, and within hours, the hotel emailed back, apologizing for the misunderstanding. "We've verified your records," they wrote. "Everything checks out perfectly. We'll proceed with the project." Aaron closed his laptop and turned to me. Damage reverse. But my heart still burned. "She tried to ruin everything I built, Aaron." "For what?" "Because she can't stand that it's finally my name people are saying." He looked at me quietly. "Then let them say it louder." 2 days later, I got an invitation to an event, the City Design Expo, one of the biggest creative showcases in the state. And, to my disbelief, my company was shortlisted for a feature. My first public spotlight. I could already hear Mia's voice in my head, mocking, bitter, but I wasn't backing down this time. The night of the expo arrived. The hall was packed, flashing lights and elegant chatter filling the air. My display booth stood near the center, a collection of modern design samples, minimalist interiors, and a big digital board showing Whitmore Design Company. As Aaron adjusted my mic, I caught sight of a familiar face entering the hall.
Mia.
She was in a red cocktail dress, her fiancé trailing behind, clearly uncomfortable. My parents followed a few steps later, whispering to each other like they weren't sure they should even be there. "Guess who showed up?" Aaron murmured, his lips curling faintly. "I know," I said quietly. "Let's give them a show." When the host called my name, the spotlight hit me like lightning. I walked to the stage, palms slightly damp, heartbeat pounding in my ears. But when I looked out into the audience, Saw Aaron's steady smile, my parents' stiff posture, and Mia's expression freezing mid-sneer. The fear melted. I spoke about the power of persistence, about believing in yourself when no one else does. I told them how every project I designed came from years of being told I couldn't. When the applause filled the hall, I caught Mia's eyes. She looked shaken, not angry, just lost. After the event ended, I stepped off stage, and she was waiting near the corridor, her voice trembling. You really built all this? I nodded slowly. Yes. Her mascara was slightly smudged, her confidence cracked. I didn't think you'd actually make it work. That's the thing about people you underestimate, I said softly. They tend to surprise you. She looked away. I'm sorry about the emails. I stopped her gently. You thought tearing me down would make you feel taller. It doesn't work that way, Mia. Tears shimmered in her eyes. Mom and Dad always said you were too emotional. I thought they were right. For a long time, I whispered. I did too. Aaron walked over then, sliding an arm protectively behind me, his voice calm. Clara doesn't hold grudges, Mia. But she also doesn't forget. Mia nodded, shame written all over her face. I don't expect her to. Before she could say more, the event coordinator approached, smiling brightly. Mrs. Whitmore, congratulations. The committee just confirmed. Your design company has been selected for a state grant and media feature. Gasps rippled through the small group around us. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Dad froze, speechless. Mia just stared, as if her brain couldn't keep up with the words. Aaron smiled. Looks like people are finally recognizing her worth. I turned toward Mia one last time, my voice steady. You once told me I'd always live in your shadow. Seems like the light found its way, after all. As Aaron and I walked away, flashes from cameras followed us down the corridor. The same family that used to laugh at me now stood frozen, silent, stunned, and realizing something they should have seen long ago. I wasn't the quiet sister anymore. I was the woman who refused to stay small. A week after the expo, my story spread like wildfire across social media. The local news ran a feature titled The Underdog Designer Who Rose Against All Odds. My inbox overflowed with new clients, collaborations, and messages from young women who said my journey inspired them. But amidst all the congratulations, one message stood out from Mom. Dinner tonight? Just us. We need to talk. For a while, I stared at it unsure. Old wounds still throbbed, but part of me wanted closure, not revenge, not validation, just peace. Aaron squeezed my shoulder gently.
Go, he said.
You'll know what to say this time. That evening, I walked into the family's dining room, the same place where my 30th birthday had turned into my sister's celebration. Nothing had changed, same chandelier, same scent of candles, same polished silverware. Yet everything felt different. Mom stood up when she saw me. Clara, she began softly, you look incredible. I smiled faintly. Success does that sometimes. Dad joined in awkwardly, clearing his throat. We watched your interview. You spoke well. Thank you, I replied calmly. I meant every word. Mia sat at the end of the table, quiet. No smug smile this time, no playful arrogance, just humility. Clara, I've been trying to call, she said. You didn't answer. I needed space, I said simply. She nodded, eyes glistening. I deserved that. Mom poured me a glass of water, her hands slightly trembling. We owe you an apology.
We weren't fair to you.
You've always worked hard, but we didn't see it. Dad sighed, rubbing his temples. We thought we were doing what was best, pushing you to be realistic. We didn't realize we were making you feel unwanted. The words hung in the air, late, but genuine. I looked between them, memories flashing like lightning, years of dismissal, the birthday humiliation, the stolen gift. For so long, I'd waited to hear something like this. But now it didn't sting anymore. Mom, I said gently, I'm not angry. I just stopped needing your approval to feel proud of myself. Mom's eyes filled with tears. We're proud of you now, sweetheart. Truly. Mia looked down at her hands. You should have always been the one they celebrated. I was too busy competing to realize it. I smiled, not bitterly, but with grace. It's not about who they celebrate. It's about learning to celebrate yourself. For the first time, they listened in silence. Then Aaron walked in, holding a small envelope. Sorry to interrupt, he said politely, setting it on the table. But I think this belongs to your parents. Dad frowned, opening it. Inside was a formal invitation printed on heavy ivory paper, the grand opening of Whitmore Design Headquarters. Aaron smiled. We bought the entire floor downtown. Clara's company is expanding nationwide. Mom gasped, hand over her heart. Nationwide. Aaron nodded proudly. She's earned it. I stood there, calm and steady. The same woman they'd once ignored now stood on the edge of something far greater. Mia whispered. You really did it? I did, I said softly. Because I stopped asking for permission. The room fell silent. Even Dad, once so dismissive, looked at me with something that almost resembled admiration. Mom's voice cracked. We'd like to be there for the opening if you'll have us. I looked at Aaron, then back at her. You can come, I said kindly, but as guests. Not as people who built me. Because I built myself. And as I turned to leave, the chandelier lights caught the golden key Aaron had given me weeks before, the one that started it all. It shimmered like a quiet reminder that self-worth, once found, can never be taken away again. Outside, the night was calm, the city lights flickering across the glass towers. Aaron took my hand and smiled. How do you feel? I exhaled, finally free. Like I don't need their applause anymore. He brushed his thumb over my ring. That's the sound of real victory. And as we walked toward the car, the family who once forgot my name watched from the doorway, realizing too late that the woman they dismissed had become someone they could only admire from afar.